The truth about vitamin D in winter. Did you know that winter might quietly be changing your body in ways you don't feel right away? As sunlight fades and days grow shorter, many people assume they're getting enough vitamin D without even thinking about it. But recent research suggests that winter is when vitamin D levels drop the fastest and the effects go far beyond bones. They can influence your immune system, mood, muscle strength, and even long-term disease risk. In this video, we'll break down what actually happens to your vitamin D levels in winter, who truly need supplements, and who might not. Because getting this wrong doesn't cause instant symptoms, but it can shape your health for years to come. Most of us know vitamin D as the sunshine vitamin. But here's a question that many people never really think about. Why do our bodies struggle to get enough of it in winter? Is it just because there's less sunlight, or is something deeper going on that affects our bones, immunity, mood, and overall health? In this video, we'll explore the latest research on vitamin D, why winter makes deficiency more common, who's most at risk, and whether supplementation is truly necessary or even safe for everyone. If you've ever wondered whether those pills in your cabinet are helping or hurting you, stick around, because today we're going deep.
Vitamin D is unique among nutrients. Unlike most vitamins we get from food, most of the vitamin D our body needs is made inside our skin when it's exposed to sunlight, specifically the UVB rays. That's why scientists call it the sunshine vitamin.
Once produced or ingested, vitamin D helps the body absorb calcium and phosphorus, minerals essential for strong bones and teeth. But its role doesn't stop there. Vitamin D also plays key parts in immune function, muscle coordination, inflammation regulation, and even mood stability. Some research even suggests that adequate vitamin D may help reduce the risk of respiratory infections, a big deal in winter when colds and flu spike. So while it's best known for bone health, vitamin D's influence reaches across multiple organ systems, especially ones that are stressed during the colder, darker months. In summer, regular outdoor sunlight exposure typically keeps our vitamin D levels topped up, sometimes without us even realizing it. But in winter, everything changes. The Time article explains that reduced daylight hours, weaker UVB rays, and more time spent indoors all contribute to lower vitamin D production. In many parts of the world, especially at latitudes above the 37th parallel, the angle of the sun's rays in winter is too shallow for meaningful UVB absorption. That means even if you go outside, your skin isn't getting the kind of sunlight required to produce vitamin D efficiently. Add in factors like clothing coverage, sunscreen use, and limited outdoor activity, and it becomes clear why vitamin D levels can plummet during winter, particularly in regions with short days and long nights. This seasonal dip isn't just cosmetic. Over time, lower vitamin D levels are associated with increased bone turnover, weakened immunity, and even shifts in mood that resemble seasonal affective symptoms. Dietary sources of vitamin D, why they alone often aren't enough. Unlike many nutrients, vitamin D is found in very few foods naturally. Fatty fish like salmon or mackerel, egg yolks, and mushrooms, especially those exposed to UV light, contain vitamin D, but most people simply don't eat enough of these foods regularly to meet their needs. Many foods are now fortified with vitamin D, such as milk, certain cereals, and orange juice, but even together, these rarely supply sufficient amounts, especially when sun-derived production has dropped off. That's part of the reason public health guidelines often recommend a baseline intake from diet and, in some cases, supplementation during winter. The NIH and other health authorities generally suggest around 600 IU per day for most adults and 800 IU for those over 70 years old. Although this can vary based on individual factors like sun exposure and baseline levels. Health risks of low vitamin D more than just bones. Low vitamin D isn't just a number on a lab report, it can have real health consequences. Chronically low levels compromise the body's ability to absorb calcium effectively. Over time, that leads to bone weakening and loss. Older adults in particular risk conditions like osteomalacia or accelerated bone loss in winter unless vitamin D levels are maintained. But the effects go beyond bones. Vitamin D also has a role in immune resilience. Evidence from clinical research shows that supplementation can reduce the risk of some respiratory infections, especially among those starting with low baseline levels. There are also studies linking lower winter vitamin D with mood changes, sometimes described as winter blues or even seasonal depression, although the relationship is complex and influenced by many factors including light exposure and lifestyle. Add in immune and muscular implications, and it becomes clear why maintaining adequate levels is a year-round concern. Supplementation. Who might need IT and WA? So should everyone take vitamin D supplements in winter? The answer isn't one size fits all. According to experts referenced in the Time report, supplementation may be useful, especially in winter when your body's natural production drops. Certain groups are especially at risk of deficiency and may benefit from supplementation. Older adults. People with darker skin, melanin reduces UVB absorption. Individuals with fat absorption disorders. People on medications that interfere with vitamin D metabolism. Those living in high latitudes with weak winter sun. People who spend most of their time indoors. Supplements generally come in two forms: vitamin D2 and D3. Most studies show that vitamin D3 is more effective at raising and sustaining blood levels than D2, making it the preferred form for winter supplementation. However, experts also warn against oversupplementation. Intakes of up to 4,000 IU per day are generally considered safe upper limits for most adults. Exceeding this long-term without medical supervision can lead to toxicity and complications like hypercalcemia, where excessive calcium in the blood causes nausea, kidney stones, and other serious issues. Balancing sunlight, supplements, and safety. If winter sun alone isn't enough to maintain vitamin D, are there ways to maximize what you can get from natural sunlight? Experts suggest being strategic. Because the sun's UVB rays are strongest between roughly midday hours, approximately 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's the best time to catch UVB that can stimulate vitamin D production on exposed skin. Short exposures of 15 to 30 minutes can help if weather allows, especially if you expose larger skin areas like arms or legs, but this can be complicated by cold weather and clothing coverage. This is where informed supplementation can bridge the gap. And for some, especially those at higher risk of deficiency, regular blood testing helps guide safe intake levels so that supplements are used when truly needed rather than taken blindly. Examples of deficiency symptoms can include fatigue, bone pain, and muscle weakness. It's also worth noting that physical activity itself may support vitamin D metabolism and overall health. Some research has found that exercise can help maintain active forms of vitamin D during winter, offering a complementary approach to supplementation or sunlight exposure. Don't overdo IT risks of too much vitamin D. While deficiency is a concern, too much vitamin D carries risks too. Experts caution that megadoses, well above recommended limits, can result in hypercalcemia, where elevated calcium levels in the blood lead to nausea, frequent urination, kidney stones, and even irregular heart rhythms. High doses may also obscure other health issues or interact with conditions like osteoporosis or certain medications. That's why healthcare providers generally recommend monitoring levels through blood tests before and during higher dose supplementation. This balanced perspective, that you need enough, but not too much, is at the heart of smart vitamin D strategies rather than blindly following trends. Conclusion takeaways for winter health. So what's the bottom line? Winter changes our ability to make vitamin D naturally. That can have real effects on bone health, immunity, and even mood. For many people, especially those at higher risk of deficiency, vitamin D supplements can be a helpful and safe way to maintain optimal levels. But supplementation should be thoughtful, targeted to individual needs, guided by testing when possible, and always balanced with a healthy lifestyle that includes nutritious foods, sensible sunlight habits, and regular physical activity. If you've wondered why you feel tired, achy, or run down every winter, it could be more than just the cold. Sometimes it's a vitamin your body is simply missing.